A question today that I get a lot, and I'm just going to read it off my little sticky note here. But the question is, I'm going through a divorce and I feel like I've let my children down and I'm breaking up the family unit, but yet I really feel like divorce is the best option. So I hear you, and I really feel the heart of that question. Our culture and society gives so many connotations around what we should and shouldn't do. And one of those connotations is that it's better for a family to stay together, even if there's problems within that family unit, rather than split apart. And then there can be a lot of judgment. There can be a lot of judgment from other people, a lot of judgment from religious groups, a lot of judgment from friend groups, from family groups, and most importantly, a lot of self-judgment about deciding to file for divorce and take you and your children in a new direction. So I really wanted to address that from a really compassionate space today. Of one is go easy on yourself, of knowing that your mind is trying to get you to live up to all these expectations around you, which just are not your reality. And that's okay, because you get to decide what your reality is. And if you've decided that divorce is the best option for you and your kids, there's a damn good reason why you decided that. That means there's been something going on in the relationship that's not healthy for you, and probably not healthy for your kids. Because even when there is tension in a relationship and we try to hide that from the kids, that absolutely doesn't work. Kids are very smart, perceptive little humans, and usually they know before we do when a change needs to happen. So let's set aside the judgment and let's look at this from a different perspective. Usually, unhealthy, toxic relationships involve some sort of family generational pattern or cycle, either for you or for your partner, and most likely for both of you. So it means that there's some hurt that you've experienced in your family of origin that might be somehow replaying in this circumstance, and there's some hurt in your partner's family of origin that is now somehow replaying in this circumstance, and that causes you now to be at this spot of hurt people hurting people. And so when you can look at that and say, okay, this circumstance is not a healthy environment for me and my kids to be in, so I'm going to make the choice to take us out. That is an extremely nurturing and healthy decision for you and your kids. Because I want to ask you a question. Do you want your kids to grow up and think it's okay for a relationship to be toxic or experience whatever the things are that you've been experiencing? Do you want your kids to grow up and think that's okay? I'm guessing no. And the only way for you to do that is to become a role model for a new way. But here's the cool thing. You have the power to reshape generational patterns and cycles that may have been going on for a long time. You have the power now to step away and say, I'm removing myself and my kids from this situation, but I'm also going to take responsibility for becoming the person and role modeling the relationships and the ways that I want my kids to be. This is the key thing that some people miss when they walk away from a relationship, and they do the work on themselves and they just keep stuck in patterns. And even when we're working on ourselves, it can feel like it takes a long time to break free of some of those patterns. But let me tell you, it does happen, and it can happen, and you can be the one that charts a new course for your kids. And how powerful is that? When you see, instead of the guilt and the shame of breaking up your family and that we're no longer a family unit, when you can look at that through the eyes of, I am doing this so that I can empower my kids to live better lives for the next generations to come, and to role model healthy patterns that they can then take into their relationships and role model that. That's super powerful. Oh my gosh. And then here's what here to tell you, though, where you have to pull up your big girl panties and take responsibility, is you have to do the work now to reshape yourself, reshape the way that the unhealthy things that have been going on. Because just because you leave a relationship doesn't mean those things stop. Unless you do the work in here, those things are going to show up in new people, new relationships, new ways, and the cycle will continue. So here's what I'm here to tell you. Don't go through all that work of leaving the relationship that you're leaving now without also committing to doing the work on you that it takes to grow you to the next level. Yeah, this is what I committed to 9 years ago, when I went through divorce and my kids were 7, 11, and 14. And I was seeing a lot of unhealthy patterns already in them, and how they treated me, how I interacted with them. And I just really made this firm commitment that I'm going to figure out who I need to be the role model to them. And honestly, ladies, that's why I'm here today, because I was so passionate about that, so motivated to stop these generational cycles of addiction, of abuse, of trauma, of codependency, and find a way to heal and connect from that. So that's what I'm telling you. If you're in that space, the deeper you can connect to your own intuition and guidance system, and the more you can seek healing for the emotional wounds that you've experienced, the more powerful you're going to be able to show up and create this new pattern for your kids. And it doesn't happen all at once. It's like a peeling of a layer of onions, where we look at what's the thing presenting itself today, and we work on that one. And then we look at, as it goes deeper and deeper into the core. I still have things I'm working on today for me, but as I've been doing that the whole last 9 years, I mean, life is a journey. We never stop learning and growing. But I can tell you, I've raised some kids that I'm pretty darn proud of. They are awesome human beings, and they also have much greater healthy habits, healthy awareness, healthy self-awareness than if I would have stayed stuck in that unhealthy relationship. I'd have never grown to be able to be the person who is able to role model these new ways to my kids. So it does happen. And even if your kids are grown, by doing that work inside of you, you still are able to influence forwards and backwards, not by telling them how something should be, but showing them by your own experience. And that's what we're here for, is to learn new ways and new patterns. And in the next couple weeks, there's going to be some more opportunities for you to actually get in on some learning experiences to actually, begin to look at, what do I need to do? What is the work I need to do on me to shift and change? We're going to have some of those right here in this group. So thanks for being here today. Thanks for asking the question. And I look forward to being this partner in growth for you, because it's all about taking responsibility for ourselves and no longer waiting for someone to come along and be our savior on a white horse, but to look in our own eyes and say, I can be all of the things that I've been looking and searching for out of other people. I can be those things for myself, not in an independent way that says I have to do it all myself, but in an intradependent way that says I can depend on myself to figure out anything that's necessary, and that includes the support systems and structures to help me do those things. So, okay, have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.